I'm joined in the studio by Rhythm Anand Bhardwaj, camera 3, you can get that right on Rhythm. And thank you. And we have Bhaskar Majumdar with us. He is the founder of Unicorn, the Unicorn Capital Fund Group, and he is joining us from, if I'm not mistaken, Bhaskar, where in the world are you nowadays? Because you keep traveling so much. You're presently in London.
That's right, Arnab.
Great, Bhaskar. We woke you up early this morning. So we are looking at an overall picture, Bhaskar, and you invest incredibly. I must say one thing about Bhaskar and Unicorn. They have been raising money for investment in India. They've been doing successful rounds and successful exits. Recently, Bhaskar has been in the US, has raised almost $100 million recently, all aimed at India. So obvious question to you, Bhaskar, would be that what does the world need to continue to be excited about India? You know, the global media always gives negative headlines about India. But what would the world need for people like you to continue to keep the excitement in India going? Bhaskar Majumdar, please.
Absolutely, Arnab. And over the last 1 year, during our journey of raising money,
That's Bhaskar
primarily for the Indian startups and the early stage companies. You know, one of the things we've seen that irrespective of wherever we were, looking at raising money, India remains to be seen as the fulcrum for growth and the driver for growth going forward. The entire China
Great
Plus strategy
picture,
is
great breaking news, great. Bhaskar, yeah, please continue, Bhaskar. Yeah.
Yeah, the entire China Plus strategy that is emanating out and the move towards manufacturing. Clearly the world, whether it be large institutions, family offices,
Bhaskar,
everyone is looking at India as becoming the next fulcrum for growth. And the thing that the world is looking at is primarily stability. There was a week of, a natural slowdown after the election results came, but it was basically a blurb more than anything else. And once again, things are back on track. Apart from stability, the most important factor which people are looking at is the continuity and going back on some of the taxation structures and other things that have happened. And simplification of the taxes. That for me is the biggest area where people are pretty much concerned even to this date about the India growth story.
Can you explain that in detail? We just had a slight reference to it here in the studio. When you say simplification of taxes, presumably ease of doing business. Yes, please. If you can elaborate in a little more detail.
Sure. I'm going to speak more from what I do, which is the early stage ecosystem. And that's very, very important from the employment discussion we had. When Prime Minister came in 2015, he said for India to become the world superpower by 2047, India has to move from becoming a country of job seekers to a country of job creators. And that was the essence around which he started the entire startup mission. Now, one of the biggest drawbacks in this whole mission has been the fact that, every budget we've been hearing about the government looking aggressively at angel tax. Angel tax is one of the taxes which was basically a figment of imagination of the bureaucracy. They suddenly came up with it, and this has started to slow down the entire investment for the early stage people. Now, every budget we keep hearing about angel tax being removed, but nothing of that has happened. Again, one must understand that there are smaller companies, US, 90% of the growth of US is from MSME companies.
Yeah.
In India, you cannot expect an MSME company to file constantly the GST and all of that. The 20 lakh cap that is there on turnover has to be increased to somewhere near 1 crore so that at least the companies can, flourish to that extent rather than being caught in the trappings of the tax reporting. So I think these are some of the simple things in taxation that the government needs to look at for the growth of the startup industry, which according to me is going to be the biggest employer going forward.
Very important point.